Hello, it's Linda over at Can Buzz, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Brad Amlin. Welcome, Brad.
Thank you, Linda.
At Can Buzz, we aim to normalize cannabis through content, community, and conversation. And today we're joined by Miss Universe Canada, Alyssa Boston.
Hi,
Alyssa, hi, Alyssa. How are you?
good.
Hi,
How are you
Lisa.
guys?
Good. Alyssa currently holds the title of Miss Universe Canada, and she raised some eyebrows when she wore a sparkly green cannabis-inspired costume during the Miss Universe 2019 pageant back in December. Well, welcome, Alyssa. We're excited to talk to you today about all things about the dress, of course, but all things cannabis and what you're up to today.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. So why don't we start with the dress? We have to talk about the dress. What a dress. You wore a cannabis inspired dress, complete with specter and all kinds of accoutrements. Congratulations for you for being so brave to select such an inspiring costume and wearing it with fierce pride nonetheless. Audiences in over 90 countries were watching and being influenced by your decision. Tell us a little bit about how confident you were in wearing this dress and whether or not that was the right decision. Did you ever feel like this might have been, a deal breaker in the competition?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was preparing for the pageant, I was really focused on making a big impact. In the end, every competition, there's only one winner. So it's not really about winning. You kind of have to go in there with a different mindset of how you want to be perceived and what impact you want to make. And of course, with the recent legalization in Canada, the whole world was kind of interested in how we're regulating it all. What's it like in Canada? So I thought a beauty pageant would be a very interesting way to bring it up, but very international. A lot of international eyes are on you, and you can really bring up the conversation. When you think about the pageant, does it have an effect on my placement? Probably. The world might not have been ready for something like this to come out at Miss Universe, but it was a risk I was willing to take, and I knew what I was going into. But I wanted it to be more about making a stance, ending the stigma, and bringing attention to the new plant that we are celebrating here in Canada.
Well, thank you for doing that. It certainly was a risk-taking moment, and it certainly has raised some awareness. There's been a lot of press since you wore the dress. It was a spectacular costume, but it was huge. Tell us a little bit about actually putting that on and wearing it. Like, how long would it take to put on? How heavy is it? What's it actually like wearing something like that?
Yeah, the designer, when he made it, he actually made a video of him putting most of it on and sent it to me, so I kind of knew the steps it would take because I never tried it on before that day.
Wow.
So yeah, I got it a couple days before, and then I put it on right before the show for the first time. It was actually pretty easy to assemble. A couple people had to help me, but if you ever watch the Miss Universe pageant, most of them were massive like that too. So there was so many girls with so many big costumes in a small room. So it's really hard to kind of get ready quickly, but it took me about I would say 15 to 20 minutes to put it all on, so it wasn't too long.
Okay.
But even though my letter C for Canada is at the front of the alphabet, there's still so many countries in front of you. So I think I was standing backstage for an hour or two before I even went on, holding this 40-pound weight on my shoulders. So I remember just bending over and trying to like keep my posture best I could before I went on stage. So it was pretty heavy, but walking in it wasn't too bad.
Wow. Well, and you still own the dress, correct?
I do not. It's actually back in Las Vegas with the designer.
Oh, it is. Okay. I wasn't sure if you still owned the dress. Okay. So any plans to wear it again?
I do, actually. There's been a couple of things that I was supposed to already have it, but since the whole quarantine thing, we haven't gotten the chance to do that. But hopefully in the future, I'll be in it again.
Okay, great. By wearing the dress, you definitely raised awareness globally for our plant. What kind of cannabis conversations have you taken since you've been wearing the dress? Is there a common question that people ask you?
Well, yeah, a lot of people always ask me why. And I think people don't understand just because I'm not a active user or used it for so many years in the past doesn't mean you can't still understand, respect it, and want to end the stigma. A lot of people kind of, what I like to compare it to is mental illness. I'm a big advocate for mental illness. And although I currently do not suffer mental illness, doesn't mean I can't advocate for people who do. So that's kind of the same view I have on the cannabis plant. Being Canadian and being Miss Canada, we're proud of how far we've come in this country and still how far we need to go. So a lot of people will always ask me, but since I don't use it, why do I support it? And I think that's like the biggest question as it is. But like I said, I love to end the stigma, whether it be for mental illness, pageantry, or the cannabis plant. I think it's really important that people have the choice to choose whether they want to do it or not. And it's great that now at a certain age, you can legally do it in Canada.
That's great. And you're talking a little bit there about cannabis stigma. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Brad Amlin, and he's going to walk you through a few questions around advocacy.
Sure.
Hi, Alyssa. Yeah, you mentioned that you're not an active cannabis user yourself. How did you become knowledgeable about the plant?
Yeah, I think I've been around it for a long time, I would say. But what I really inspired me was when it became legalized. I have a business background and a business degree. So the biggest thing I really wanted to learn about was how is this business going to work? And I think that's something that really inspired and sparked my interest. That's kind of how I got involved in it. And then once I won Miss Canada, my team and I came up with the idea to bring awareness at an international level. But it stemmed with my business background.
And how did your parents feel about you wearing the dress at the pageant?
Yeah, at first, I don't think they were sold on the idea. They're definitely not users in the cannabis industry at all. My mom works in Detroit, Michigan, which is across the border from me, and she was really concerned about me not being able to cross the border if I was the weed girl. So that was her biggest fear. But now that I was way more educated than I've ever been on it, I got to educate my parents and my whole family on it. So their perspective 100% has changed. They're actually really excited for me to be in the industry, working with this new company, a new retail dispensary, Shiny Bud. And I think they wanted me to be under government regulation, having a company that respects the plant very much and also is under great leadership in the business world. So I think Shiny Bud was the perfect fit, and my parents are super proud of me.
That's awesome. Yeah. You mentioned also about mental health, and although you don't suffer yourself from mental health, you're a big advocate of mental health. What is one of the biggest or most surprising things you've learned about cannabis or the CBD and the use towards mental health?
Yeah, so my uncle suffers from schizophrenia, and ever since I was younger, I've been affected by mental illness. So it's something that's really close to my heart. I know, although I don't suffer from it right now, I know in your future, 1 in 5 Canadians will suffer from a mental illness. So I think it's really important to raise awareness for that. When it comes to cannabis, actually, a lot of people who've reached out to me after I was wearing the costume spoke about how cannabis has really helped their mental health, and whether or not be actually medically, but just to have a culture and a passion for something and a community where you can connect with others really helps your mental health. Just having the cannabis plant, being able to speak about it, and now gaining more friends, gaining more knowledge about it. It's amazing to see so many benefits. I know at Shiny Bud, a lot of the bud tenders are so knowledgeable, and they taught me so much about the plant already. CBD is something that I currently use. I have it a lot in my skincare products and my hair products as well. So it's something where people may not know that it's not a psychoactive. And for people who are not in the industry, there's so many cannabis strains that they do a bunch of different things. So people just have to be way more open-minded to kind of learn and want to gain the knowledge about it.
So you talk about using CBD on an active basis, and it sounds more like the topical application as opposed to an oral application. Is there any curiosity in terms of trying the oral application now that you understand the benefits of it?
Yes, of course. I think the whole quarantine thing kind of put a setback on everything, but yeah, I'm definitely interested. I hear so many great things about it, and I definitely want to try it. As for cannabis itself, as the THC side of it, I'm not against it at all, and I think down the road I will, but as of right now, I haven't got there yet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Linda, I think that you had a few questions with respect to Shiny Bud.
Yeah, thanks for that, Brad. So we understand that you've got a relationship now with Shiny Bud, and so your cannabis dress moment wasn't a one and done moment. You're continuing to work within the industry. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a lot of companies approach me after wearing this. If you guys, I don't know if you noticed, but David Spade actually did a skit on it on one of his shows. So it's pretty cool that it got a lot of attention. So a lot of companies kind of reached out, and for me, it was really important to make sure that my brand matches the company's brand. And I think that's the biggest thing I struggled with when finding the perfect fit for me. When I was approached by Shiny Bud, getting to meet the team in Toronto and learn all about them, I knew it was a perfect fit for both the business side and the cannabis side. So it was pretty awesome. They have a location at Weston Road in the 401. It's a big, beautiful building where anyone can feel comfortable. And that's the biggest thing that I want to focus on, is people who are not in the industry already and want to try it or are kind of curious. It's great that they can walk into the store, gain some knowledge from the bud tenders, and feel comfortable in trying this new experience. So I think that's really important and something I look for in the company. Alongside that, there's a lot of award shows in Canada and in the United States. So I was kind of getting involved in all those, but that kind of took a step back for now.
Well, for now, we're on a pause. Yeah. And so what's next, do you think, in terms of your cannabis journey? How would you like to see yourself, contribute to the community over the next few years?
Yeah, I'm super excited to be working alongside Shiny Bud for hopefully a long time. We're actually opening a new location in my hometown, which is Windsor, Ontario. So we're super excited for that to be opening soon. And you can stay tuned to our social media and website for those informations. In the long run, I really want to be connected with the cannabis industry for a long time. I think it has many great benefits. So just kind of being an active member in the community, in my community, alongside Shiny Bud is really important to me. I hope down the road we can be doing more events and raising more awareness at an international level. And hopefully from the start of me wearing this costume at Miss Universe, it can make a global impact, and hopefully we'll see that down the road.
Well, I'm sure you have. And thank you so much for wearing the dress so beautifully. You definitely have done your part to raise cannabis awareness around the world. And it sounds like you're going to continue to do so. So thank you very much for joining us at Can Buzz today. And we would love for all of those of you that have enjoyed the video here today to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, your favorite social. You'll find us at Can Buzz. And thank you so much. And we'll look forward to watching your journey as you continue your path through the cannabis industry.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Alyssa.
Bye.